Today's AskReddit post. What car brand has the most problems and people still buy? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. I'm amazed Jaguar is still in business, to be honest. I worked for JLR a few years ago on the lines. They're beautiful looking vehicles, but I've seen how they're built and the lack of care most people had. I wouldn't buy one. Don't start looking in restaurant kitchens. Land Rover. You should only worry about your Land Rover if it isn't leaking. That means that you have run out of at least one important fluid. My Range Rover Sport has no warning lights on for once. I guess that means it's blown its back. Check engine light bulb. Jeep. I knew better. Did it anyway. Loved my Jeep. Drove it daily. Went through 7 recalls. But stuck with it until it self-destructed for good. My back. 14 self-destructed in rush hour traffic by all dash lights lighting up like the 4th of July. And the accelerator was revving on its own with my foot on the brake. While the e-brake failed to work. I shut it off and it never turned back on without a new alternator and various other replacements. Jeeps. Range Rovers. *LAUGHS and 10-year-old Toyota with 160,000 miles. That's not even halfway to the JUNKYARD*. My ex made me retire my back. 97 4Runner with 397k on it. Should have kept it and got rid of her sooner. My upvote bumped you from 69 to 70. Somehow that feels correct. Jeep. Range Rovers aren't noted for their reliability. That's why they are a status symbol. It shows you can afford to buy one and to keep it running. Fiat/Jeep/Chrysler/Dodge. I support this, except the Chrysler 300. For some reason the 300 is built better than their other cars. Which makes no sense cause it's just a Dodge Charger, but made for old people. All Jeeps can duck right off though. They didn't change much for like 20 years. They just made the last one last December. Eventually you figure out all the issues and just make small risk-free changes to keep people interested. Had parts on them last 10 years. Same assembly line as Charger/Challenger. BMWs don't exactly have a lot of issues. But when you do have an issue, it's a proper pain in the ass disassembling them to get to the bit you actually need to fix. I've been lucky. Have 250k miles on and 07 330D. Only big bill was a new turbo. Same for my 07 328i with 300k miles. My sister sells car at a dealer that sells VW, Volvo and Mazda. She said that VW and Volvo fill up their service bays and Mazdas come in for routine maintenance. Great tip. Mazda is going to be in the running for our next car. Daewoo. It's cheap to buy, but it's expensive to have. I totally forgot that was a car brand. My mom had one back in the early 2000s, and that thing was in the shop multiple times a year. Fiat fix it again. Tony. Fiat, fella in Allentown, issues in all parts. Easy. Alfa Romeo. Even the owners club agrees that most of an Alfa's life will be spent in a garage, while the owner looks at it covered in grease, with a ratchet on one hand and bits of his own hair on the other. But then comes those 3-month periods where everything works, and the car is simply *MAGICAL*. As an owner of 15-year Alfa I disagree. There were some worse models before, but after 2007 it's going well, as long as it's maintained regularly, stuff like oil and filter changes. I had a 2020 and it was in the shop every week. HP Plus printers. Edit. Haha, my bad. I thought I was on a different subreddit regarding tech gear. Honestly, don't buy HP Plus printers. They are pieces of poop that has to be connected online. Even if you plug in a USB direct, HP will stop it until you register for an HP Plus account. The app on the desktop is garbage. Lastly, you can't transfer printers between computers because it's registered. Answer: Ford/BMW, Eurocars. Toyotas. This is a joke. Toyotas are awesome. I'll never buy anything else. I concur. Nissan. Their transmissions are hot garbage. Every reckless high-speed driver in your city drives a poop box mid-2000s Altima. Every single one. Try to find an Altima without body damage. Go for it. Good luck. I have not seen any Toyota mention thank god their car are great. And it's Ford for me. Ford is hit or miss. They either have so many problems that they practically fall apart, or they last 20 plus years. Yeah. I have a 2007 Ford Escape with 225k on it, and it's going strong. I've beat it to hell, but it keeps going. I do regular maintenance though, and I know that's helped. Jeep. French cars are famously poop. Renault, Peugeot and Citroën. Shit cars. Citroën trolled the Nazis so hard it genuinely helped with the war effort. So I'll give them a pass. Citroën didn't deserve their reputation in the USA. The American car companies lobbied Congress to ban the sale of his hydraulic fluid, so mechanics had to use transmission fluid in the suspension lines. That fluid made the fluid lines deteriorate and, hence, the term lemon. It was anti-free market protectionism. Citroëns were amazingly designed and engineered cars. Then, I own a Volvo with 355,000 kilometers on it. I'm a Volvo fanboy. My 92 Volvo 240 has over 300,000 miles on it. Best car I've ever owned. I've watched my neighbors go through multiple cars over the years. I learned to drive in back quote 86, 240. Still have fond memories of it. Jeeps. Lexus. Just kidding. That thing is a tank. 20 years old. 170k miles on it. It was in the shop once for preventative maintenance, and one more time, because they didn't do it right. 300 HP V8 to the rear wheel, and so comfortable I just go sit in my car and read sometimes. My insurance, in a city with high insurance costs, is under $90 a month. I'm driving this thing until I die, and then my grandkids will pass it down to their grandkids. I bought it 7 years ago for $10k. That's because it's a Toyota. Boeing. Take care of yourself. Opel. OBD reader on and at all times. That's the same as a Vauxhall I think. I've had two. Never had any issues. First one was like 15 years old. When I totaled it, my current one is 6 years old, and passes its MOT every year without any problems. Any Stellantis brand. Fiat / Alfa / Jeep / Dodge / Ram / Chrysler. They are consistently rated worst in reliability studies and many times have the highest issues per 1,000 vehicles. Jaguar has never made a reliable vehicle. Jeep, or most Chrysler products for that matter. Never owned any of them and never will. Also, back in the day, the first Hyundai cars were terrible. I remember my aunt had a Hyundai Excel, and it was in the shop more than it was on the road. And the loaner car Hyundais would even break down. But she needed something cheap. Just like most people who buy problematic vehicles. Land Rover. BMWs. The indicators never work. That's an optional extra that no one buys, apparently. Anything that's not Honda / Toyota. Unless you're looking for a luxury vehicle, I don't really understand why any average person looking for a commuter vehicle gets other brands. I love Mazda. I drove a Mazda for 10 years. Only ever had it in the shop once. That car was awesome. Jeep. You go. I would buy that car if they were still making it. I worked with a guy who bought one new way back in the 80s. He even was pulled over in Pennsylvania for 92 miles per hour. Car thefts increased in my city by 300% because of Kia and Hyundai. They may have fixed the issue with the newer models, but people are still getting their windows smashed in. I will never even consider one. I have a Hyundai that isn't affected by that problem, and it costs me almost no money to keep maintained. Just oil and filter changes in a year, plus some other basic maintenance stuff like brakes and tires sometimes. Anything luxury. Not so much that they necessarily have more problems than other cars, but normal things that go out on any car are ungodly expensive, and they purposely make it damn near impossible to fix it yourself. Do not include Lexus or Acura in this, or are you talking about supercar luxury? Close bracket. Mercedes A140 series was just poop. Still I see daily those in traffic. According to this thread, all of them, except Toyota and Honda/Mazda/Subaru, based on this thread. Land Rover/Range Rover. My college mate's dad used to work for Ford. He told us, if you value your life, just buy a Japanese car. I'm not saying American cars are good, but German cars are over-engineered and expensive to fix when they break. British, French and Italian cars are cheap junk. Unless it's a Ferrari or Lamborghini, then it's beautiful and easy to break. What about Chinese, Japanese, and Korean? Curious. No personal experience with Korean cars. Chinese cars aren't sold in my country at the moment. Japanese car brands, especially those imported from Japan, have a good track record and reputation overall, especially Toyota and Honda. Most cars are fine with proper maintenance. People who buy old luxury cars need to be able to afford to maintain them. The most expensive Mercedes is the cheapest one. Except a car my brother had, a brand new, fully optioned Kia Optima SXL a few years ago, and the engine blew at 25k miles among various other issues. Shutting the door on it was like shutting a tin can. Build quality was garbage. The best chance of owning an old luxury car with few issues is going to be Lexus. I thought Jeep was at the top. Any Stellantis product. So Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Alfa, etc. All garbage. The trisexual Toyota/Chevy/Geo Prism was one of the best ever released into the wild. You literally had 3 separate cars you could pull parts from in a junkyard, and every single one has parts for this car. Amazingly cheap to run, and it goes forever. I wish I still had mine because the Audi is a bitch to work on. I think anything German is a tricky situation to work on, lol. Jeeps. Tesla. Edit. I knew this would strike a nerve. I don't hate Tesla. I'm just not ready to buy one yet. Lol. The only thing I've ever paid for since I got my car almost 3 years ago has been tire rotations. Land Rover. Land Rover. You are better off than a ladder. Jaguar/Land Rover. I don't know how they roll those money traps out to this day. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.